And we reflect on the ways his light is in you and how you can spread that same light in a very dark world. So the star was the guide for the wise men to find Jesus. They followed the star. And Jesus is still our guiding light today. But the question remains, are we following it? Hey mama, are you stressed by the lack of time in the day to do all the things? Are you feeling disconnected from God, your husband, and even your kids because patience and presence seem out of reach? Do you want a healthier body, mind, spirit, and home, but overwhelmed in where to start? Hey, I'm Shan, daughter of the king, wife, mom to 4, RN, wellness coach, and I know very well what it feels like to want to live well, but about to lose it with my very blessed, full life. After realizing I can't pour from an empty cup, I tracked my way to whole body wellness and so much peace. If you are ready to cancel the stressed out life, learn tactical, intentional strategies as a mom wearing many hats, find more peace, confidence, and joy raising kingdom kids, then listen in. Come on, mama, together we got this. Really, God's got this. So go heat up that coffee again and turn your listening ears on. Let's chat. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Did you know we are still actually in the 12 days of Christmas? If you're listening to this in real time, according to the church calendar, the 12 days of Christmas tide start on Christmas Day and go through January 6th. So we're actually still in the 12 days. And there's many ways to tell time, but I love the way the church does it. The church calendar breaks up the years into seasons, and it all starts with Advent, that time right before Christmas where we're anticipating Jesus's birth. And then Christmas lasts 12 days and ends on Epiphany, which is January 6th. So today we're going to talk about this new year, this new vision, maybe this new concept for you, and actually give you ways that you can practice it if this is so new, you don't even know what I'm talking about, and what I do to practice it. Okay, so the word epiphany comes from the Greek noun epiphaneia, which means shining forth. So Jesus came into the world on Christmas Day is when we celebrate, and Epiphany is recognized as the day, the light that he brought into the dark world, and how the wise men found him by following the bright light, the shining star in the sky. So it's not really the day that they arrived at Jesus. It wasn't 12 days later, but that's the day that we celebrate as a church, Big C church. And we reflect on the ways his light is in you and how you can spread that same light in a very dark world. So the star was the guide for the wise men to find Jesus. They followed the star. And Jesus is still our guiding light today. But the question remains, are we following it? Are we using the light that he gives as our guide? Are we following him as our guide? Or are we following other lights? You know, Satan is called the angel of light. He makes things very attractive, very deceptive with the bright, shiny, sparkly. He wants to trick us into following his light and this false light that he puts in other people. So do we have a shiny object syndrome, as they call it? Or are we following the great light, the light of Jesus? So it's just a lot of great questions to sit with in your journaling time. You know, that journaling time you're supposed to have with God for the vision and your goals for the year. Step 1 and 2 of the 5-step goal method in episode 134. If you've not had that session yet, actually you can do it on Epiphany on January 6th. And I'm recording this quite before, so I don't know if I've already done it or not. But Epiphany is an amazing day to spend that time with God. And you can practice Epiphany with me too on Monday, January 6th. Now, the first time I celebrated and recognized this day was just in 2022, not that long ago. And it was through one of my favorite podcasts, That Sounds Fun with Annie F. Downs. And she was just starting to celebrate it herself, but with a large podcast community, welcomed her community to fast and pray with her together on that day. And she did an episode that was about vision and the vision for her business and self and others and her family, and invited us into that process. And I'm not sure where this quote came from, whether it's from her or someone else, but it's in my journal from that day. What you do with the clarity matters most. So we know light brings clarity, right? If you're in a dark world and you shine a light in a dark room and you shine a light, it makes it clear. It makes things clear. But it's not just seeing it that matters. It's what we do with it. It's our actions that follow once we see the light. Are we going to go towards it, or are we going to stay back because we're scared and timid and not so sure? Fear. So we celebrate Epiphany and pray for the guiding light to make the path clear. And then we act on it. We do something about it, okay? Yes, and amen. So emphasis on all of this coming together is through prayer, listening to God's voice for the word, the goals, the intention, the vision that he has for you in this season. And if you need help being encouraged about hearing God's voice, you can always go back to episode 131 that we just had with Heather O'Brien. It was a great interview on hearing God's voice and being confident in that. So I'm going to share with you some ways that we will be celebrating and invite you into them. So as a family, we'll have a family dinner. We'll go around and bless our year and home and family together. We'll choose a word of the year for our family. And this will go with our family vision and mission that God gives us. This past year, we chose gratitude. The year before, we chose peace. And it's so funny because it actually is this tradition that families do on Epiphany, and it goes along with a formula. And I learned this from the Advent box that our kids get from their Lutheran preschool. And in it, it talks about this traditional house blessing of writing 20. So that's the start of the year, right? 2025. So write 20 plus C plus M plus B plus 25 above your door in chalk. And they give us like this gold star that we can write it on. And then we also write our word of the year as a family. And so it stands for, I'm going to butcher the actual words, but it stands for Christ bless this house, but it's Christus Mansionem Benedict. Let's just say that. And then you add the year to it, the formula, and then you pray for God to bless your family and your home and all who enter through that door. So you put the star on your door, and we have a wreath hanger, right? And so the wreath is on the front of the door, and inside of the house is the back of the hanger, and I just tuck the little star in there. And it's so funny because it falls down so many times throughout the year, but it's just a great reminder every single time that it does. And in 2023, we reflected on peace. That was our word of the year, and we needed it every single time it fell. It was like the perfect reminder and time. And then this year, it was gratitude. And so I don't know what we're going to decide this year. We like to bring some ideas to the kids and talk and pray about it as a family. But here are some other things that you can do as you celebrate Epiphany as a family, if this is something that you want to do. You can simply read the story of the Magi when the three wise men came to visit Jesus in Matthew 2. You can read back the story and end it and say, give more details depending on the kids' ages. And you can also be a light to others. Think of ways that you can spread light via, donating or showing up for someone that's sick or lonely or a loved one. And you can also talk about the gifts that they brought Jesus. So, and we do this too during our dinner as we light all the Advent candles. So you can do that as well. But, you can talk about the word of the year and the vision star, or you can also discuss the presents that the Magi brought. So I'm reading from Women of Christmas still by Liz Curtis Higgs, and she says, the presents were well chosen: gold for a king, incense for a priest, and myrrh for a burial, pointing to the sacrifice to come. God was also providing for his son's needs and for Mary's and Joseph's as well. The Magi, they knew what to bring. How did they know to bring myrrh for the burial? They knew that he was the king that was going to save the world. And so you can also sing Epiphany songs like We Three Kings. You can just do things together about discussing the wise men and what really happened and in that culture and in that time. So what will I do personally? I will fast and pray over my goals and intentions of the year, go through my 5-step method. I will reflect again on the past year and what God's taught me and all that he's revealed and healed. And remember, there's always more healing to be done. And so I will go through, I'm actually going to go through prayers that heal the heart again. This will be my 3rd time going through it. And I'm going to find what he wants to heal in me this year. And I know that's going to couple with my word of the year and my vision. So I do like to pray specifically about my word of the year and my vision for the year in this Epiphany day, because again, Epiphany, right? You want an epiphany for where you're going and the light that God is shining and the path he's shining on. So I thought through some of my other words and I wanted to share with you how when I had light to guide me, how it made the path more clear. So in 2019, my prayer, and I don't know if I said a word for the year or not, but my prayer was to get close to God due to this extreme anxiety that I had during my pregnancy. And I didn't know 2020 was coming, but it was an intention about spending time with him. It was necessary. It was the only way I got through that anxiety. So that was 2019. 2020, I believe my word of the year was growth, which is kind of fitting. I grew a baby. I grew in peace through prayer. I grew in blessings. I grew a business, started in August that year, and through December, it was packed full of growth in so many ways. So it really was a fitting word of the year. 2021 was confidence. And I got confident in my body towards the end of 2020 and started to learn that I needed to find confidence in myself. And so I sought out as a bright light confidence. How do I build confidence? And little side note, it takes courage. You need courage to build confidence. It's baby steps of courage. Build up into confidence. And that's what I started doing. And my mentor pointed out that I wasn't confident in myself, and she was there as my mentor and my coach to lead me and help me and take these courageous steps. So it really is important to have someone by your side. You can go all the way back to episode 6 and hear about that whole story. And then 2022, this was a big year for me, and God revealed to me not only my word of the year, but also kingdom identity, which was bold and courageous. Joshua 1:9, you are strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. He revealed to me that, yes, he gave me that verse for my son in 2017, but it was for me, and it was my kingdom identity that he was speaking into me. And I did so many courageous things in 2022 because I repeated that verse. I had that as an identity. And God, actually, what was really cool is remember, this is the first time I celebrated Epiphany 2022. And in that session, God revealed to me this kingdom identity, this word of the year, and also that it was for my daughters, which was huge. It actually tore down a false identity that we all had, that we were shy, and encouraged us to walk in boldness and courage. And we got to do it together. We walked through a book actually by Annie called 100 Days to Brave, and it was for adults. And then there's a kid's book as well. We went through it together. We went through it with some friends. It was such a great time of walking and acting in courage. And then 2023 was peace and abundance. I actually worked through a lot of financial anxiety, and this really helped with that peace and abundance. As you can see, it was a deep spiritual work that took a lot of healing, and I had many lessons to learn on it. And I actually walked through it with that Prayers That Heal the Heart book. So I am anxious to see what I'm going to work through this time, but I came out with a lot of peace. And then 2024 was vision, which is so perfect for my business as I was actually pursuing occupational wellness as I had this new business. And he gave me exact steps to follow for vision. Like, how do I implement this vision? Oh yeah, I have systems and trackers and intentional action. And he showed me the journey to take. And he gave me a vision that I am holding on to. And friend, let me tell you, it has not come to fruition yet. It has not happened. But that doesn't mean I let go of the vision. It doesn't mean that it is not clear and that's not what God has. Remember Habakkuk 2:2-3. The Lord said, write the vision, engrave it plainly on clay tablets so that the one who reads it will run. For the vision is yet for the appointed time. It hurries towards the goal. It will not fail. Even though it delays, wait patiently for it because it will certainly come. It will not delay. And I know God's working on my patience and making the steps clear along the way, the baby steps clear. And so I am holding on to that. Truly. And so I don't know where my word of the year is going to be for this year. And I will find out on Epiphany 2025 on Monday. But I will be praying about it up until that point. And I invite you to do the same. And so, will you join me for Epiphany this year? What is your word? Do you have one yet? It's okay. You can get one on that day. And I want to invite you to a special Epiphany prayer meeting. We're going to do this again, January 6th, Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time in our Facebook group, Simple Wellness Solutions for Motherhood Stress. You can go to bit.ly/courageous village and join us in there. And we're simply going to pray. Okay, so I'm going to be fasting and praying all day, but I want to interrupt that personal time of prayer and come on and pray with you. We can ask questions about Epiphany if you have them. You can ask questions, concerns, discuss some things, and we can just come together and focus on following the light of Jesus. You know, when you abide in the light will shine through you when you abide and stay close to him. So let's go to prayer and find out what he wants to do with us this year. And I'm so excited. And again, let's stay accountable to each other. Once we get those words, once we get that vision, whatever he reveals to you on Epiphany, let's share it in the community together, hold each other accountable. And it's just going to be an amazing 2025. I just know it. I have so much faith in that. So I impart that faith to you and join me on Monday. Can't wait. And until then, Shalom Shalom. Hey, Wellness Warrior. I pray that blessed you. And if so, it would bless me big if you would write a 5-star review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Not only would this make me super happy, but it will allow for others to find this show too. Also, I love to chat over on Instagram, so make sure to take a screenshot, share to your Instagram stories, and tag me at the Shan so I can see it and we can keep chatting and bring other moms to chat with us. Until we get to chat again, mama friend, may the Lord's face shine upon you and give you peace.